Welcome to Red Ice Creations Radio. This is Henrik Palmgren, and this is our internet talk radio program, recorded from the west coast of Sweden. You can tune in every Thursday and Sunday for our regular program. And if you want to have full access to our growing archive of radio interviews, you definitely want to check out our subscriber section. You can find all the information on how to subscribe and be a part of Red Ice Creations on our website, redicecreations.com. So welcome to this Thursday's show. Today we have back with us on the program Kent Daniel Bentkowski, or Kentroversy for short. And Kent has been with us a couple of times before, and it's always a pleasure to spend some time with Kent and talk about his work, his research, and his articles. And today we are going to talk more about Kent's latest piece called Delay Plaza, Esoteric Freemasonic Symbolism in the Death of JFK. An excellent article that I've been going through, and I'm looking forward to talking more about this today. Very important and interesting information to highlight from Kent. Also, let me mention Kent's website. The main website that you should take a look at right away is kentroversypapers.net. And from there you'll find many more of Kent's articles, also links to kentroversytapes.net, the podcast that Kent recently started up, excellent addition to kentroversypapers.net. So there's a lot more information up there for you to dive into. So with that, let's say welcome back to Kent. Very nice to have you back again, my friend. Thank you for coming on.
Well, thank you very much, brother. I greatly appreciate the opportunity to speak with you yet again.
Excellent. Yeah, hi. You know, it's excellent to have you back. Always a pleasure, as I said. And I'm looking forward to talking more about your latest work. Excellent material on occult symbolism and numerology related to the assassination of JFK. And before we kind of dive into the bulk or the main theme of your research, if you will, tell us about your relationship to the JFK assassination. Had you entered into this world yet by that time when it occurred?
Well, actually, JFK was murdered the day before my second birthday. And this actually forms the earliest memory I have of my life. I am now 45 years old, and this was a very long time ago now. And it just got into my soul, so to speak, and it just would not rest. So when I became a little older and I started to show an aptitude towards writing and research and so forth, the JFK assassination actually became the very first piece of research I investigated. And in terms of that, in 1980 and 1981, as I was getting ready to go to college, I worked for 2 years as an assistant librarian in a local library branch here in the Buffalo, New York area. Mm-hmm. And during that time, I had full access to a tremendous archive of research material, and it was very easy for me to get access to books that are actually referred to as being in the stacks. Mm-hmm. And what that means is in every library there are many, many more books that are in the basement and are not on the bookshelves, as opposed to the ones that you do see when you go into the library. Mm-hmm. So some of these, dare I say, secret books that they weren't so happy to share with the public were all accessible to me. In addition to that, Henrik, I got myself into quite a bit of trouble by asking for these materials because, number one, I wasn't supposed to know that they were available, and I wasn't, or rather, I should say I was making waves in the library system, so I received a little bit of a backlash from my immediate supervisor for the research I had begun.
Isn't it true that a lot of the libraries started out as Freemasonic lodges? I've heard that the Freemasons had a lot of archive material, and of course actually started collecting a lot of books, and a lot of these places consequently afterwards actually became libraries. Do you know if that's true or not?
I've heard that too, and in my area, and I can't say for sure if this is true across the board, but I do suspect it is. There are endowments that are made by these wealthy benefactors who, pay to build these grandiose library buildings and have these ornate statues and other monuments to themselves. Here in the Buffalo area, in the Erie County Public Library, they have the complete archives of the manuscripts of Mark Twain. And the reason we possess this in our city here is because Mark Twain is a former editor for what was at one time called the Courier Express newspaper, which did go out of business in the 1980s.
All right. You have, to kind of dive into some of the material here, then you have a section in the beginning of your article called JFK, A Life as Seen Through the Eyes of the Occult Practitioner. Tell us what you mean about that.
Well, in my research, I've discovered through my own trial and error that the way to understand, and the best possible method of understanding how these elite work, is to not think about things in terms of our own morality, but to think about things the way they think about them. This is a very crucial point that I would like to make, because what I found in talking to my readers, for instance, who are very frequently sending me feedback on my material at this point, which I do greatly appreciate, is they tell me that they have a hard time believing and understanding the mindset of these people and the true depth of how evil they are. And in this case, we're talking about a sitting U.S. president. Before the assassination, there was a bill, a handbill that was passed out on the streets of Dallas that said JFK wanted for treason, and it actually listed what they perceived as his infractions against humanity and against the country, and these were used as justifications to eliminate this individual. And so, in terms of the occult here, what I wanted to do is I wanted to look at this situation because in 1992 I went down to Dealey Plaza personally. I had a business trip that I had to take in Dallas, and coincidentally I had time to go down to Dealey Plaza to personally walk the site for the first time in my life, and also to do comparisons in terms of some measurements and some other perspectives and points of view. And in doing this, I discovered that there was absolutely an assassination plan that was occultic in nature, and Dealey Plaza itself, as a location, is highly occultic and has, as I described, it's just dripping with occult symbolism.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. You highlight that in the article. Very interesting stuff. Not only of the conception of Dallas as a city itself. I guess it has roots in Dealey Plaza, and very much connection with what you pick up right away, I guess, is that there is a lot of connection with 3 and of course also 33 to Delay Plaza, isn't that right?
Yes, that's very, very true. And in fact, I was astounded at the number of correspondences, and I actually had to keep some of these off of the report simply because I wasn't writing a book here.
Exactly.
I was trying to keep it reasonably length.
Yeah.
I could have put many, many more examples into this report.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the number 3 is a very important number in terms of math and geometry and also in the occult system itself. And in terms of Dealey Plaza, we have the triple underpass, the triple overpass, which is a train bridge that runs across Elm Street. We have the convergence of 3 streets that form this trident type of a design into the street pattern itself, much like we see the different things that are embedded into the streets of Washington, D.C. Dealey Plaza was also the location of a tremendous amount of flooding and deaths in the 1800s. Mm-hmm. And this was before they had the flood control board and all these other safety nets that were put into place. At the base of Dealey Plaza is something called the Trinity River. So again, there's another correspondence to the number 3 again. And it's also the location of the very first Freemasonic lodge in Dallas. Also the very first post office, general store, and courthouse. So going back into the early days of the city itself, this central location was very important to the growth and the birth itself of the city.
Interesting. And I guess there are, diving into it, I know that you have a few connections even with alchemy, of course, the elements, but this goes back to the not gematria itself, but the Kabbalistic tree of life, I guess, and there are elements. Tell us about the 3 alchemical elements that are related to the 3.
Yeah, what we're talking about here, for the benefit of the listeners, is sulfur, salt, and mercury, the 3 primary alchemical elements. And this is one of the expressions of the number 3, which is the union of the monad and the dyad, which gives us the triad. The 1 plus the 2 equals the 3. And this is also an expression of Pythagorean math as well, which is also very important to the Freemasons. In addition to that, Henrik, the number 3, there is also a correspondence to the 3 mother letters of Hebrew, Aleph, Mem, and Shin. And on the Tree of Life, as you just mentioned, the number 3 relates to the sphere of Bina, which is understanding, and this also relates to the planet Saturn, which is the most important and the heaviest of all the planets beyond our Earth.
Interesting. And I guess a very important thing, it seems like, is also this aspect of the